Play Rocky Top. I think there'll be enough versions of Rocky Top come come football season. Nose picking. Man, how about this beard, dude? Look at this thing. I feel like quarantine's getting the best of me. Yeah, there's Bob with Salt Creek. Figured I'd get out here on the sunshine and do something different. They're chopping a tree down in my neighborhood. I got a pretty sweet setup here. This is an iPad. They call this an iPad, and I've got my porch. You know, you can't be in the South and not have a porch. Figure we do some picking outside. This is Collings mandolin. Really good mandolin. I just got this thing. Like keeps the mandolin off of your body, you know. And you guys would be freaking astounded at how good it makes it sound. It just gives all that richness to the low end. Yeah, so I don't really know what to play. I just figured we'd chime in here. I couldn't sit in my studio today. I was just like, man, I can't do it. I wanted to get down there and do more woodshed stuff. I ended up just getting on Patreon and making some licks over there, and I thought, man, I gotta get outside. Kind of going crazy. I can't tell you how much I miss playing live shows and play some Morbid Angel. Is that a Del McCurry song? Oh man, yeah, so Craig, shout out to Craig here. Man, his boy is a football player. His boy's name's Kel, and Kel is going to the Tennessee Titans, if you can believe that. Craig had sent me a message. He was like, man, you know, my boy's going to be in the draft. And I was like, oh, you know, hope he does real well. And for those that know me, know I'm a Bears fan. And he said, can we give a shout out to the Titans? I said, man, I don't know if the Chicago fan will let me do it, but it'll be one of the few times you hear me say go Titans. Outside of that, Bears, baby, all the way. We got Nick Foles this year, so we'll see if that'll be good. Had a request in there for some whiskey before breakfast. Give you a little bit of it. I'm about to sneeze so bad. It's killing me. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. And when I do, it's going to be really funny. I can't even play. There it was, man. Okay, let's get to that B section. Yeah, a little whiskey before breakfast. I like taking those arpeggios in the second section. You know, when you got the I like to play those out. Ah. So that's a really cool kind of way. Mandolin's cool because you can take arpeggios in 2 notes per string, and it's really easy. And those on guitar aren't really that fun to play, you know? They can be a little finger twistery. On mandolin, they're really nice. Here's like a G or E minor, you know? You know? There's 7. How do I know theory? I went to UT for a couple years, University of Tennessee. Go Vols. So my Go Vols scenario there, some Rocky Top, and I learned my theory there playing in the jazz program there. Went for a couple years, dropped out, started getting gigs and sessions, and started getting hired to play. So I quit going to school. I got a little something in my tooth here. I quit going to school, and you know, I just started playing sessions all the time. I feel like I got something in my tooth, but I don't. I guess it's just a shadow. Little request for some Jerusalem Ridge. Take a bluegrass request, I guess. Here's a little bit. Get you a little head of each tune. Been a long time since I played it. Try it again. Yeah, so some Jerusalem Ridge there. That's an old Bill Monroe tune, Kenny Baker. I hadn't had my mandolin out very much. I haven't been playing mandolin, so I figured it was time to get this thing out of the case and do some picking on it. I appreciate some of the bluegrass standards, man. It's making my brain work. I can't ever remember things. I work really hard. I learn a bunch of crazy stuff, and then I forget it all. So I wish there was a way to keep the chat open. Is that a way that I can do that? Can I do top chat? Live chat. All messages are visible. Oh, dude, there it is. There you guys are. I was wondering what was going on. I just saw things popping up and going away. I'm using an iPad right now. I got a couple of dogs out here. Thanks, Rick. Hey, man, good to see you. Love your channel, always. The kind of wreaking havoc on a mandolin. If y'all don't know, keeping a mandolin tune is the worst. It's the worst. It's the worst thing ever. I saw some questions about the difference between mandolin and guitar. Well, mandolin's tuned in fifths, so you get G, D, A, E. And it makes a lot of things symmetrical. and it also makes things awkward on the picking hand because you have some things that are like 4 note per string, and then you have some things that are 2 note per string. You know, that's like 2 note per string. Are they expensive? The one that I have, sadly, mandolins are outrageously expensive. A beginner mandolin, I would think, is about $800 to $1,000. This is an intermediate to nice price range. This is about $7,000, and the really expensive mandolins, they can go for. I'm gonna try to scoot this back. The really expensive mandolins, you get more of my Porch now. The really expensive mandolins can get 20 grand, 30 grand. You know, Dudenbosel mandolins are around 15 to 20 grand. Vintage Gibsons get to like 80 to 100. They get crazy, man. So mandolins are expensive, unfortunately. Doesn't mean you have to have an expensive one to learn how to play. I learned on a $300 Alvarez that my granddad had. And then through most of my life, I played a $1,100 Kentucky. That's all I had. I was broke. I didn't have a lot of money growing up to buy instruments, especially like this. But this is fine folks at Collings, and you know. And I grew up playing a lot of fiddle tunes. That's how I developed my right-hand picking technique. Songs like maybe Big Mon. I'll do a little Big Mon here, so you can kind of see some right-hand technique. That's more like how Sam would do it. Ah, so rusty. I've been playing so much guitar, my mandolin chops are rusty. Why do you have a fret wrap on it? It's for the sympathetic. This. Mandolins, you know, they hear everything. I also sometimes will take foam and put it under this right here, and then you know, it'll kill out that stuff. You know what I mean? So fret wraps aren't so I can tap on it. There's not a lot of that thing going on. It's more for killing out those sympathetic harmonics. You know, I think that's the right term. Rick will probably know the right term. I always call them sympathetic. You know, vibration harmonics. Let's break down Big Mon. That's a fun one. So the main melody, it's in A. It's got a 1 to flat 7 thing right there. So a basic version of the melody. And then a lot of fiddle players play that more notier version. So that's kind of the A version. The format of the tune is A, A, B, B. And those aren't key centers, those are like the format of the tune, right? One more time. All right, so the B section is, oh, sorry. And you can hear it go to that 5 chord. I'm gonna slow that down. And sometimes I'll play that double stop like a fiddle player. Oh, one more time. So yeah, that's Big Mon. And then people put variants on it all the time. Big truck going by. Hang on, wait till he's done. Okay. And Sam would always do that. He played with these real kind of swampy tippos. And then I like to play them more kind of like in that Adam Steffi inspired way. So yeah, that's how you have it. Yeah, game on, right? Car. That's some Big Mon for you. Remember, you got. So if you're gonna comp on that, like I always like doing my chops like that. We kind of deaden it out with your fingers, kind of like the Sam Bush thing. I learned a lot from Sam. Car, another car coming. That's the thing when you grow up in Tennessee, man. You got a lot of trucks with big loud mufflers and stuff. Yeah, very percussive. Yeah. Another great tune in A, in the key A, is Gold Rush. I think I was playing that at the top of the session. Yeah, man, Emery Lester, man. I used to play one of his tunes, the Pale Rider. I've got to go back and relearn that. Man, yeah, I used to love Emery Lester. So let's play that Gold Rush. That's it. So that's an old Bill Monroe tune. Yeah, the Gold Rush. This is the main melody. And then a variation on that you can do is kind of put in a few more notes over that 4 chord where it goes. What tempos should you shoot for? Man, I don't know. This song sounds good at any tempo. You know, I don't really overthink tempos. Here's Gold Rush played at a light jog. And then here it is at super fast. yeah, fiddle tunes can be played kind of in any tempo. That's the great thing about them. They always sound musical, you know. Really, really enjoy all those old tunes in the key of D. They tunes like what's a good one? Lost Indian. I love playing the Lost Indian. So, hang on. Okay. Make sure that something's not going crazy with my phone and my iPad. I'm trying to stream outside. Thanks all for joining and hanging out here. I'm going to hit the chat and see all my chat guys real quick. Let's see if I can do that again. All chats are visible. Yeah, I want that to stay up. Okay. Almost like Cherokee Shuffle. Yeah, it is. It is a lot like that. Lost Indians got that kind of 6 minor thing that happens in it. That's in the second part, right? Or it's in both parts, yeah. Right? My hoodie's hitting my mandolin. I love that tune, man. I love those little Chris Thiele-isms where he just outlines the harmony, and it's like this. He always does this like double picking thing. A great example of that would be not necessarily of this thing, but his picking would be the that 11th reel. That's a great tune they do a lot in the Punch Brothers. Another great Chris Thiele tune that I loved growing up was, I'm trying to remember them, so you'll have to forgive me if I hit some flub notes. That's it. My manlin's slipping out of tune again. I think that one was on his second record. It was called Leaves Fall, maybe? Mandolin is the worst to keep in tune, guys. We're about to hit 100 on the chat, which is cool. There we go. Nice close. Oh man, still slipping out. Sitting outside is not doing me any favors as far as keeping my instrument in tune. But man, it feels great outside. I gotta change some strings and check some intonation on this thing. Another good one indeed is Angeline the Baker. Yeah, Dean. Yeah, Dean. Sloppy. Here's a dog. Right, cool. The cool thing about fiddle tunes is no matter how you get out of them, you just got to end with that double tag. Or what would be another one? That was my granddad's favorite one. I was trying to remember it. Yeah, that's my granddad's jam. He used to love those fiddle tunes. He's still alive. Still alive. He still plays. Let's hit that chat. Oh, whoops. Live chat. Cool. Yeah, sitting outside. Man, it's rough on the tuning. Nice by my house. Yeah, it is nice, man. I'm lucky. You got a great place here. The dog's name is Kari, and she likes to join in on the stream when we're sitting outside. Blackberry Blossom. I don't know if I remember Blackberry Blossom. I need to learn it, or relearn it. I used to know it. You guys are watching me relearn tunes. I think I played it like that back in the day. Yeah, everybody plays the standards different. Like on Blackberry, it's like I hear some guys play it like, and some guys play it like, right? That's like more of this thing where it's got a descending pattern. And then other guys play like, right? And then it's kind of got the open string. And then the other one was, right? So yeah, the cool thing about those old standards is everybody has different takes on them. You know, David Greer is the king of reinterpreting. Yeah, that is a fact. I need to sit down and just go through all of those old fiddle tunes and relearn them. I really suck at remembering. I recommend a starting mandolin. Yeah, man. Kentucky F5 is a great one. You know. Doggo. Yeah, I love Stephen Grappelli and the Gypsy stuff. You know. Yeah, I love those tunes, man. I need to really brush up on all that woodshed. Let's see here. David Greer's Beaumont Rag is ridiculous. Yeah, I posted I took a take on that Beaumont on my Instagram. I need to dig that up and check it out. Let's see what else we got. Strings, Diodarios. I can't remember what's on it at the time. Yeah, cool. Thanks all for. Did I learn that off the hot dog record? Yeah, I think I did. The first time I heard a lot of these tunes was just in live jams, and I learned them from other people, and then I went back and found the records when I was a little kid. You guys are great to hang out here while I'm trying to get the mandolin back under my fingers. I haven't played much mandolin at all. That A string, I might have to change these strings. What's my What's my all-time favorite mandolin song to play? Gosh, I always loved Daybreak and Dixie. I always loved Bury Me Beneath the Willow. I love Big Spike Hammer. Daybreak and Dixie is the one. And then Bury Me Beneath the Willow was yeah, I love those are probably my top two, at least today. I do love Lost India. I love Jerusalem Ridge, man. Let me go back and play that one again. Usually I woodshed really hard for a couple of days on mandolin before I have a mandolin gig. I'd say about 4 or 5 times a year. Some buddies of mine, Dan Kimbrough and Mike Seal and some of those guys, Matt Menifee, Eli Bishop, all those guys will we'll get together, some variant of that lineup, Todd Parks or whoever, and we'll get together and play a bunch of bluegrass over at a local pub here in town called Barley's. It's kind of fun because everybody in the band has played these crazy big gigs, whether it be, you know, some of the stuff that I've been doing, and you know, Todd plays with Jerry Douglas and the Earls, or not Todd, Daniel plays with the Earls and Jerry Douglas, and Todd plays with Sam Bush, Mike plays with Sierra Hull. We'll get together over there at Barley's and just play, you know, to a room full of people drinking beer, and it's awesome. So usually when I get with those guys, we put together like a Spotify list, and we all listen to the tunes for a couple of days, and I'll get the mandolin out kind of like I am today and just brush up. Usually it takes me about 2 days. I'll play mandolin pretty hard for 2 days, and then I'm back in my fighting weight. It's real easy when I start playing a lot of guitar to muscle memory where you think a third's gonna go. You know, on mandolin they're not where they should be. Like on mandolin I like to play thirds up here. And on guitar I like to play them kind of behind it, you know, to where it looks like this, like that, you know. Do I just randomly do live streams, or am I publishing them to a timeline? Seem to keep missing them. Yeah, man, I just randomly do them. I'm just like, you know what? It's time to stream. Let's just hang out with some folks. What I do is I leave them up. I leave them up in my YouTube chat though. Like, not chat. What do you call it? Like your playlist? Is that right? Playlist? Holdsworth said he got a lot of accuracy high up on the neck from playing violin. Maybe. Holdsworth was an alien though, so I don't trust anything he ever said. He wasn't on this planet. He wasn't born on this planet. He was an alien. I'm not even sure he really died. Maybe just his people came back in a spaceship and took him back. Holdsworth was like nothing any of us mere mortals have ever seen before. Let's hit a couple more questions here. You know, I'm gonna have to go get some food. I'm getting kind of hungry here. Thank you guys all for hanging out. I always got to go back and hit the button to see the live chat. I don't like that about iPad. I wish it would just stay up and scroll. Some of my favorite mandolin players. Yeah, man, that's a good one. I like Bob Clark. He played with Mike Snyder back in the day. I love Bobby's playing. I loved Emery Lester. Man, loved him. Sam Bush is the GOAT. You know, Sam Bush is the reason I kind of got into music in the first place. I think the guy that took mandolin farther than anybody else is Chris Thiele. Love everything he's done. I spent a lot of time learning a bunch of Chris Thiele stuff over the years. Yeah, man, when we do those jams, those kind of jams I was talking about over at Barley's, we'll pick like a Punch Brothers tune or a Chris Thiele tune, kind of get into that. Yeah. Sean Lane, yeah, crazy good. Let's hit this chat again, get some questions. Artist Works website, Mike Marshall. Cool, that's cool. Nickel Creek was very dope. It looks like my mandolin is the MF5. Yeah, it's the Collings MF5. Bad MFer. Maybe that's the name of this mandolin. One bad MFer. How does one get into bluegrass mandolin playing without a teacher? Any programs on the internet? Man, you're on the program, dude. You're on YouTube. When I was growing up, man, you couldn't go to the store. Like, there wasn't big bluegrass sections at CD stores. You know? Everybody, you know, was never super popular back then like it is now. Something happened with movies like Oh Brother Where Art Thou and bands like Mumford & Son bringing a lot of spotlight to folk music, bluegrass music, stuff like that. Nowadays, man, you can get on YouTube, any fiddle tune that I've been playing or whatever, you can just get online and look it up, and there's a version of somebody playing it and teaching it to you. You time it, I mean, if you ever get on a live stream and I'm sitting here with a mandolin and somebody's like, hey man, will you teach this fiddle tune? Like, I'll do it right now. If somebody was like, hey, will you teach Gold Rush or whatever? Like, I would just do it right now. I love the vibe of streaming and hanging out. So I think that's a great place to look, you know. Always keep an eye on your favorite players on their channels and see what they're up to and shoot messages on things like Instagram, Patreons, websites. I mean, there's so many great ways. Like if anybody is on my Patreon, by the way, much love to all those Patreon members, crispy high fives to you. And you want to learn a fiddle tune, just let me know. Just message me on Patreon and let me know. I'll be glad to put together a little lesson to break it down and show you my take on an old fiddle tune of your choice, dealer's choice. What is a good mandolin at not such a high price range? Kentucky. I'd get a Kentucky F model for about $800. Anything less than that, you're gonna have a hard time playing it. Not to say that it can't be done, it's just gonna be hard. It'll be hard to do it. Have I ever done a bluegrass record? Man, I'm going to. I hadn't done it yet. Guess I need to find my Instagram. Yeah, get on Instagram. It's really easy. It's Andy Wood Music on Instagram. Bluegrass record. The closest thing would be the acoustic side of Caught Between Truth and Lie. There's How Mountain Girls Can Love, and I think another old standard on that thing. But I've never done a full-fledged acoustic record, even though that side of Truth and Lie is like 12 songs. That was a double album. That was a lot of work. Most people don't realize I wrote Truth and Lie on mandolin. Looks like it's so much easier to play on mandolin. Yeah, you see the shapes are so much more friendly. Yeah, anyways, written on mandolin, if you believe that. I've never played a Kentucky dog mandolin. I guess they're good. They gotta be, right? Let's hit a couple more questions. Ever check out Hamilton de Hollanda? No, I need to. I need to check him out. Jimmy Herring, dude, you had him for a teacher? Holy cow. Send me his email. I want to take lessons with him. How do you balance the technique, between technique and feel? It's kind of the same thing, right? Technique and feel. Like when people say he plays with a lot of feeling, that just means that he can control his instrument, right? Controlling your instrument means that you have a high level of technique. I think the misconception is people think that technique means playing fast. That's not what that means. Like great technique, I don't have great technique. I have I can get some things out that I want, but I'm always working on my playing. But if I were to say great technique, doesn't have to be something fast. It doesn't have to be. No. That doesn't equate great technique. Those are just fast licks that, yeah, require a lot of technique. Technique and feel are really the same thing, right? Let's play something that's not stupid fast, but requires great control and technique. Like a like that kind of playing right there requires a different level of concentration and technique control than just burning. So when you ask a question, I'm gonna put a bow on it, on the answer. When you ask a question, how do you separate technique and feel? They're not really separated. Playing slow requires great control, and playing fast requires great control. So it's all just different perspectives on what the word technique is. At least that's my opinion. I could be wrong. I've got a guy chiming in saying it's nice to see a new background. Well, man, I had to get outside and change it up. I hadn't played mandolin basically the entirety of this quarantine. I've not been doing any live shows. So I played mandolin on the rhythmed live concert stream. Worked up a little medley, played that on there. That was fun. That was cool. But outside of that, I have not played any mandolin. I hadn't been outside very much. I'm going crazy. Without you guys being awesome and tuning into my streams, I'd be climbing the walls. I'm built for playing for people and playing live. That's one thing I miss. I miss live shows and interacting and seeing people's faces, reactions, emotional reactions to music. I still miss seeing that, but thank God you guys can tune in and ask questions and keep me company while I'm sitting here counting the seconds to where I can go back out on the road. Yeah, great East Tennessee weather, for sure. I feel like I'm finally getting warmed up now. It's taken me 44 minutes. I feel like I can actually play like myself a little bit now. Can I play your track White Tree? I need to relearn it. I don't even remember how it goes. I can't even recall how it goes in my head. Do I ever make a mistake when I play live? Absolutely. What's the greatest difference between guitar and mandolin, in my opinion? Size. You know, basically the size of the distance between things. You could tune either one. Like you can tune a mandolin like a guitar if you wanted to. It's not really that. It's the size. Am I in Knoxville? Are you seeking me out? Yeah, I live in Knoxville, man. Love it. Dude, yeah, Guthrie's great, man. I'm only, you know, it's weird. Like, Guthrie and I have a really good mutual friend, which is Travis Toy. And I've hung out with Guthrie a couple of times, you know, in Nashville. Went to a couple of gigs he did. He used to play at Acme, Feed and Seed a lot. I go over there and check him out. But man, we're not close buddies or anything. But yeah, I'd love to do a co-mandolin, even if it was just a song or two. I love Guthrie. I love his playing, and I love how he's just a good old boy. I like that a lot. Great player, man. If y'all don't know Guthrie Trapp, you need to do some YouTube searching. He's great. Live chat. I ride around aimlessly, listening to my stuff a lot. Hey, Deacon, I appreciate it. Crispy high fives. Let's see what we got. It does help to get outside, man. Shoot, yeah. On mandolin, I use the bigger. That's what I use. Blue chip. Really good. Do I ever make mistakes? Yeah, man, I make mistakes when I play live. Everybody makes mistakes when I play live. when I was younger and Guthrie was still on the Sir artist roster, Guthrie Govan, not Guthrie Trapp, I was doing a clinic, and I hadn't been playing guitar very long, maybe about 8 or 9 years, been playing guitar. And I was doing a clinic with Guthrie. And we were both teaching on the clinic. And for whatever reason, I can't remember, we didn't have live bands. It was somewhere in North Carolina, I can't remember where. But we weren't allowed to have live bands, so we both had to do the guitar karaoke thing. That's what I call it when you have to play the backing tracks on an iPod. It's not really that fun. I always feel super cheesy doing it because I don't have a band. I like playing with live players. And anyways, Guthrie's playing fives, you know, he's doing the thing, you know. He's doing his thing. And it gets to the big lick, you know, the one. Does that thing. He gets halfway through that lick. Chokes out. It's the only time I think I really recall seeing Guthrie like clam. You know, Guthrie is, in my opinion, maybe the most well-rounded player I've ever heard in my life. Guthrie Govan can do anything. Never hear that guy mess up. There's one time I did, and he reached over to his iPod. I'll never forget it. It's the coolest thing. He reached over his iPod. He hit pause on the iPod, replayed the lick flawlessly. He says to the audience, "That's the lick you all paid to come to see, and I didn't want to mess it up. Here's the lick." And it did it again, and then hit start on the iPod, and just went on to just play one of the most blazing improvised solos to fives I've ever heard. And it really stuck with me. That was one of the most important moments of my life, because you see a guy of that caliber that's so invincible on the instrument with so much control, and even he, you know, has clams. And it makes you feel not better to watch somebody else mess up. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. What it makes you feel is like, man, if the great ones have, you know, missed opportunity or whatever, a flub, a clam, you're like, man, it takes the weight away from the pressure we all put on ourselves to play perfectly. I've sat out here on my porch and hit a bunch of clams because I'm not polished up, you know. But I have great days, I have bad days. I think everybody in this chat, man, we got 135 people in the chat right now. I think all you guys have great days and bad days on your playing. And it's really important just to remember that, like, you hit a clam, so what? You know? So what? I think it's important to have improvisation as an aspect of your playing. And with improvisation comes, you know, a high risk of hitting a clam. I have friends that don't improvise at all. They're just like, I don't improvise. And they play to, you know, just re-execute something they had recorded. That's awesome, man. Good for them and good for their art and their craft. But at that point, it's different because you're playing to recreate something perfectly every time. It's what you play every single time. I love improvisation because there's a high risk factor. You just don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to go down. And when something is magical in an improvised scenario, it's like you're there on stage with them. And I'm talking from the listener's perspective, you know. So yeah, as far as making mistakes live, that's my thoughts on making mistakes live. Take risks. Play musically. Improvise. Learn to improvise if you can't. God knows there's a ton of material out there on the internet talking about improvisation. Let's hit some more chat. Let's see. When I heard D Confused says, when I heard you with Phil X, Andy Timmons, and Mark Lettieri at the NAMM show, thank you for coming to that, by the way. Reminded you of Guthrie. Oh, cheers. I have stolen many moves from Guthrie's playbook. I think that's a huge compliment. So thank you very much. How do I deal with people thinking you're a witch when I shred? Well, I hope they don't pull out any crosses or holy water or garlic, because no, that's vampires. That's a different thing, right? How do you kill a witch? You got to burn it? I'm not worried about being burned live, so I guess I'm okay with it. Convinced my friend Ben to start teaching more country shred on his YouTube channel. That dude can't play country. Freaking Ben Eller. I hope he hears me say that. Oh, man. I got to shave this beard, guys. Look how long this thing's getting. No, Ben's a great guy. Ben and I work together a lot, and I don't think Ben ever really tried to play much country before hanging out with me and Travis Toy. He never really delved into that world. I kind of glad I could bring some of that stuff into his life, some Brent Masonisms and that Southern vibe. Feels like there's more humanity in improvising. Yeah, man, for sure. I have played shows with Johnny Highland. I've never played with John 5. John 5, if you listen, call me. I'd love to do a gig with you. I'm all about gigs, shows. I want to do that stuff. I don't want to make videos. Is that weird? Do you guys think that's weird of me? I'm not really into making videos. I'd rather do live shows, and I like streaming because it feels somewhat like I've got some interaction with some humans. But yeah, if John 5, call me. I'd love to do a gig with you. I look like Willie Nelson if he kept his voice. Oh, that's great, dude. I love that. What's your phrase melody on mandolin? Let's pick a good one. Oh man, here's a great Adam Steffi one. It's kind of mutated around, but it's built around thirds. So let's take the key of A, bluegrass key of A. That's a great one, right? So I'm just working around. Here's 4, sliding back into 3. A lot of those slides make things sound really grassy to me. And that's building around the flat 5. That'd be like another way to do it. One more time. I'm watching the thing and not my hands. I need to switch. One more time. I'm trying to write one for us. Yeah, that'd be it right there. I like that open string thing. The other one that I showed you was, it's hard to play it slow. Cool little phrases. It's another good phrase. Ooh, I like the triplets like Andy Leftwich does. Let's take those in A. So you have like it's like a lot of hammer-ons. Yeah, that's a cool one, right? Yeah, so there's some kind of cool little phrases that I like. I really, man, when I play mandolin, I like to get into that bluegrass thing hardcore. I got to relearn Arrowhead Pass. God, how did that go? Something like that, right? Isn't that right? I think that's right. I don't even know my own songs. That's it. Right. One more time, let's take it from the top. One more time. I think I went 7 there. Yeah, that was the last lick. Yeah, so that's a pentatonic thing. So that went to 4 chord, 4 minor. And then to a 5 chord, 5/7. And then this lick. One more time. I'm gonna relearn this thing. Yeah, so that's some Arrowhead Pass. I'm gonna go back and do some work and relearn some of these tunes, man. Let's hit this chat one more time, and I'm about to go get something to eat. Whew, getting hungry, sitting outside working on this man. Thank you guys all so much for hanging. Yeah, I really appreciate it. It's really cool, man. It's cool to be able to jump on here and get some hangs with some music lovers. Love that. 80, thank you for coming to the Ben and Kingfish. Me and Ben and Kingfish and Timmons. Appreciate that. Have I played Red Dead Redemption? Yeah, man, it's good, dude. Hey, Deacon, you want to book me for something? What do you want to book me on? Shoot me a message. I'll play on your record. Shoot you my rates. Sorry, I lost my place in the chat. Matt Mundy's old stuff from the 90s. Yeah, dude, it's insane. Thank you, Sendokan. Checking that out. What's one of my favorite guitar songs to play on mandolin? God, I don't know, man. I just don't know. How do we find out when you live stream? Man, just be on my Instagram. Usually I like to take a little photo going live. I tell you a great way not to miss anything, and this is going to be how we're going to say goodbye, is hit the subscribe. There's a bell, something about a bell on YouTube, and it'll give you a notification when I'm going to go live and stream. Oh, Stevie's chiming in there and tell it, click the bell for notifications. Yeah, that way you can chime in on my streams. You know, God knows how long we're going to be sitting here without gigs and live shows. I hate saying that. Man, I hate saying that. I know that Live Nation is not looking at doing any tours. I know that it's looking pretty bleak for live shows. I was talking to Wes. Wes, Mark Letterry's bass player. Talking to him earlier. He said he's doing the same thing, man. We're all just climbing the walls, ready to get back out on the road, kind of going crazy. But until then, I really, really appreciate your support. Jumping on these streams means a lot to me. Keeps me feeling like a normal person, normal musician, you know. So I can't express how much I appreciate that. Please feel free, if you like the content and you have specific things you want me to do. I've got several tiers on Patreon. Entry level just gets you the videos. You don't get to ask anything. The next two middle tiers are all about questions. The second one, I think it's $10 a month is the second one. You can ask me a question, I'll fire you back and answer it. The third one is you ask me a question, I'll put it on a stream. That's cool. So if you have a question, you want it immortalized in some kind of video or YouTube stream, that's the third tier. The fourth tier gets you access to all my backing tracks and Axe Effects presets, of course, everything that you get in the previous tiers. You know. So if you have specific questions that you want asked and answered, maybe even in a public format or in a way that you can record it, jump over to Patreon, andywoodmusic.com, and that helps me keep the fires burning on this stuff. Outside of just financial support, which is like, you know, whatever. It's like, I obviously not sit here and say it's not great, but, you know, finances are one thing, right? We can all figure out how to make money. But one thing that Patreon does for me that keeps me sane, and I think this is really important for you guys to hear as the consumers of content, Patreon keeps me sane because you guys ask questions and it gives me things to think about, and it gives me things to aim streams at, right? You don't want to just go on a stream or make a video and not know what you're going to talk about, you know? So those Patreon members asking those specific questions. Y'all are the fuel to my fire that helps me come up with stuff to talk about. So man, that's the real support right there, and I really appreciate that, because without it, I wouldn't know what to talk about. You know, I'm like anybody else. Half the time, I don't even feel like I am in any position to teach anyone anything. I'm still a student of music myself, but that is that's the way to keep the content flowing for sure. As far as other social medias, Instagrams, Twitters, all that good stuff. Man, let me know what y'all thought about the Danny Elfman woodshed. Another question for you guys to think about is, would you want episodes of the woodshed that you know, not just lessons, you know, more conversational things, or do I leave that for streams? Love it, love y'all. Crispy high fives. Everybody stay safe, stay happy, and we'll see you next time. Same bat time, same bat channel. I don't know how to turn it off. This is hilarious. I'm trying to end a stream on my iPad and I have no idea how to do it. It's not there. Anybody know how to end a stream on iPad? There we go. I found it. Cheers.